agenda and we have a guest. So what I'd like to do, you have an agenda in front of you. First of all, I'll call the meeting to order. And we do have all 5 board members here, so there's a quorum. We also have with us today 4 members of the 2022 board, and they will be here. There's some things on the agenda that we need their input on because they're the ones that are going to have to take care of those issues next year. So they're here for that. They will not be voting on anything we do. It's just this board that will be voting as normal, but they are here to give us their consensus on things for next year that they need to have. So that's how the meeting's going to go. I would like to invite, and I'm going to make sure if you're going to speak today, I'd like you to come up here and you can stand. I'll move and let you stand here so that you can be recorded, so that you can hear what you have to say and know who's talking when you're talking about different things, if you would please. With that said, I have Pat Lana, and she is with the Garden Group, and they are going to be doing an expansion this year. Is that correct?
Yes, we brought a map of the grounds.
Well, and let me finish what I was going to say. I just wanted to make sure you're expanding your building, right?
We're expanding the greenhouse. We're taking out the old house, putting in a new greenhouse, and then we are also going to be redoing the grounds. And since you're adjacent to a parcel of it, I thought it would be good to invite you in for some input, information, if you'd like to help somehow, whatever might happen. And I'm real new at this, so not at the design part, but at the presentation. And I'm a little shy about this, believe me. But I'd like you to feel free to come talk to us if you have some ideas how you might want to put some of your clay products out there. I know there's some now. We would like more. Just however you want to get involved would be helpful. The general idea is that we really want to make this a Class Act garden. And since this area down in here is adjacent to the Clay Club, it's kind of been excluded from what we're expected to do, but because it's in close proximity, I want it to be included somehow. And so we can coordinate some efforts and make sure that we do it to your liking, and that if you need a garden for display perhaps, or you're going to have a sale or whatever, that it accommodates you.
And just so we're clear on what area we're specifically talking about, when you go out the doors here, you go to the left, and there's a bear, not bear, but there is one totem there by the gate that goes out towards Beardsley. That little quadrant there is what she's specifically addressing with our club, because that's really our area. And we don't have anything to grow in there, but I think they probably do, so.
We'll have extras.
But I wanted to be sure, again, that both boards were involved in this decision process.
This is sort of what we're using for inspiration.
Beautiful.
We would like the entire area to look like this, to have some impact on the community and also have information. One of the things I was thinking that could be part of the Clay Club are placards or such that identify some of the products maybe. I don't know. It's just all up for grabs right now, and if you've got some ideas, I'd be happy with it. We also want to put in, the greenhouse is going to be back here, and it's going to be over half, I would say twice the size of what we've got now. And we want to put a fountain out front. I don't know if you're capable of handling something as big as a fountain, but I'd like to explore some ideas, like maybe some drippy water on a couple pieces of pottery, or something that includes you and makes it very creative. So if you've got some ideas, let me know. We're going to have a very green garden, lush desert type garden here. We're going to have a Sonoran garden up in here, which includes saguaros and cardens. There is a difference, but they're both basically saguaros. a butterfly garden here, which would have some flowers. Wildflowers would be the key thing. Little cactuses growing here that can be identified, and then our sales department and our alley down here with all the plants for sale. The other area that I'd like to address is the tree out in the middle of the courtyard. It looks kind of tacky the way it is, so let's clean it up. Any questions for me?
Well, I would like to make a couple comments if I could.
Mhm.
And this just based on the short conversation you and I had. If I understand correctly, the current totems that we have throughout here will be
They'll
left where
remain.
they are.
Mhm.
And you won't be moving those. And what you're really asking for is a commitment from our group, whether or not we'll allow them to kind of expand their plans and put it in that quadrant. And the question I would ask you, do you expect us to have some cost involved with that?
Since I'm so new at this, I don't know. I don't think so. I think we'll have the plants that can go in there, but if there's anything of major concern, maybe replacing benches or something like that, I don't know. I'm so new at this, I can't even commit.
But what we would ask them probably, because I kind of presumed that there wasn't gonna be a lot of cost to the clay crop, unless we wanted to add some totems or do something else out there, and then it would be clay, and it would be that kind of expense. There was not a lot,
Might go back to the art
yeah.
committee I'm dealing with.
Yeah,
Can't
that's,
think of her name right now.
yeah, well, Sue Fitzsimmons is in charge of her, she was, but I'm
We
not
can
sure.
go to them and ask them for a little bit of finances
Yeah.
to help with that.
If that's necessary, I guess is where I was going with this conversation. If it comes up that there's some park benches or something that have to be purchased, then I would just make sure that the debris comes back to us, not knowing whether whether the club's gonna say yea or nay.
This is all the first step, and so I don't anticipate any cost, but we'll see what happens, and what goes on down the line. Oh, another thing I'd like to mention is our entryway out there looks pretty bland. And I would like to propose, and I don't think you can see this too well, but I've got a picture here that I pulled out of a magazine. It's just a bright area along a fence. Can everyone see this, sort of? Well, I've got a little thumbnail sketch here that shows where I propose doing it, and it's just more or less outlining where the gate is, putting a bright spot out there with maybe the colors of the community. We've got orange and a bright blue, maybe one of those colors around the entry, both inside and out, to just liven up the area. And this is all just a proposal on my behalf that I'm gonna be presenting to our group next week. And the impact that I've got so far from a lot of the people is that they'd like to see that, to invite more people in from the street. Just a small minor thing, yes.
I think it's wonderful. I think it looks gorgeous. I think it's gonna be really exciting up here for Beardsley to see all this. As our new board, maybe we can get a committee together to work with y'all.
That's fine,
And,
sure.
and get some things. When is your proposed time that they're gonna start doing this?
They're gonna be ripping out the old greenhouse at the end of the month.
Okay.
And, excuse me. And, then building by March. So we've got
Okay.
a long way to go here, and I can come back to you again as I know more of the details. And we've got to get everything approved, and,
Sure.
but I just want, I guess the main thing is to know if you're interested in maybe being included. And I know nobody likes to be excluded, so.
I think we can come up with some good stuff, don't you guys?
We're creative.
Sounds
bunch.
like fun?
We're creative.
So,
Okay.
leave us your, info,
Sure,
and then we'll get back with you. We'll have our first board meeting the first of the year.
okay.
So,
And
Does that
I'll be
sound
in
good?
and out of here a lot. If you see me, don't be afraid to say, hey, you, come over here, 'cause I know people don't remember names too quickly, so, yeah, just by all means, I've been out here a few times measuring and trying to pick people's brains on what they want, because I'm not the only one here, everybody's part of this.
What we need to do is we need to have this board, the current board vote on this, to move that.
Sure.
So, does anybody have any other comments from the audience,
What else
please?
you want?
She wants this.
Do I hear a motion from, move ahead to work with, the greenhouse, or the, I'm sorry, what did you call yourself?
Sun City West Garden Club.
There you go, thank you, the Sun City West Garden Club in their, development of the grounds once they've rebuilt.
I move.
And do I hear a second? Okay, motion has been made and seconded, is there any discussion? Motion made and seconded is that we would, agree to work with the Sun City West Garden Club as they develop the grounds out here and move forward.
I've also put my phone number on this page so that you can include it, so anybody that needs to call me, please call. If you have an out-of-town phone number, I sometimes think they're scams, so please leave a message and I'll definitely call you back. So, okay, we all done?
But, and then vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same, motion carried. Thank you very much
Okay.
for being here, and I
I'm
appreciate you
happy.
being prompt.
That's gonna be so cool,
Yeah.
I think.
Thank you.
Very, I bet you guys are
And
so
I'm-
excited.
I'm glad to have you on board. This will be very helpful.
Merle, here's one.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, it looks great.
Bye-bye. Okay, we'll go back to the agenda as printed. At this time, we have minutes from the November 15th. Shay?
Yeah, the minutes, the corrected minutes, I did make an error in the one I originally put up, but I did retype it, put it up. So it's been posted for a whole month, so, anybody, to make a motion to accept the minutes as posted?
I think,
Second?
Motion been made, second to approve the minutes as posted, for the November 5th, 2021 board meeting. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, the same, thank you. Treasurer's report?
I don't have a report, I haven't gotten the bank statement, and so I need them to get it
Okay,
balanced.
no problem. We'll go to the committee reports. The first one is membership. Kathleen's not here. We do have 366 members at this time. It's kind of going up and down a little bit with some of the people with their lockers and stuff, but it's 366 today, which is a good year. I think it's great, and coming back out of what we've all been through the last year and a half, I think it's outstanding. And we have a lot of them are in lockers. We still have, I don't know that we have any lockers available. I won't go there. But anyway, that's all for membership. Arlie, if you have something from education, please. Sorry. I can't take notes when I stand over here. I'm sorry. Thank you for coming up.
That's not fine with here, you can stay. Michelle and I are education, and we are planning on continuing for next year as well. We think we've had a really great year. It's taken us a little while to get going, but that's fine. We also think it's really important to thank Daryl Buswell for all that she has done, because she has made multiple donations and has gotten our beginning hand building going, which is great for all of the students who come in. We've got, we've had 17 beginning hand building classes this year. We had about 68 new members, 6 test-ins, around 16 new members, which gives us a total of about 84 new members this year. And 67 people are still on the wait list. had 32 half-day classes and workshops. We've had 3 beginning wheel classes. New stuff, we've had 1 outside teacher last summer. We've never had an outside teacher come in the summer before. We've had an outside teacher in November, and we have 2 more scheduled for January and February. We've also been to doing some outside research, and we've got 3 other teachers that we're in the works with for coming up for the March, April, whatever. We have summer fun, which is bi-weekly fun learning times. We have a new intro class for Raku and Raku firings, which started earlier than usual. And also thanks to Daryl, I didn't say that, but she's gave us a whole bunch of new Raku places. We have new monthly videos started last summer. We'll probably now alternate with Mud Moments. That's sort of in the works. New online classes and wait lists to expand. Next to include online sign up. It's been a busy year. Thanks to everybody who helped make this successful. We appreciate it.
Very much, Carlos. Appreciate it. That's a lot, I think that's a record for you, beginning handle and the students that we brought in.
Does that include the December class?
No.
Okay, I have 10 more coming in starting Monday.
So is that off at the 67 then?
Well, it'll go to, yeah. It'll go
That
to-
makes up for, no classes last year, or whatever we had last year, right? Mary Ann's not here, does anybody have anything for the children? No? Social, I thought maybe Gretchen would be here this morning, but she's not, but I know that the other day when I looked at the holiday list for Sunday night, it was over 100 people, I think, so that's a good deal. Well, let me say this, there were 50 lines filled in, and I multiplied times 2, which is probably not a perfect number.
It's 110.
Wow, great, that's wonderful, that's good participation. I did have somebody bring to my attention, they've been told you need to bring your rec card because they have a scan, they put scan systems all through the community. And there will be scans to be done at the door, and when you sign in, if your spouse or friend or whoever's with you, you'll need to put down 1 guest. So you put your name in for the clay club, and then you put 1 guest, and then move on, okay? So, that should be pretty easy, we do it every day, so, not a problem. Kilns and glazing, anybody, no? All right, so that's all the committee reports. Bart?
We have a slab roller that went down this week and they fixed it. And they moved it to the door side. They switched those 2 because I guess their observants or whatever have noticed this side gets more action and they're trying to save this. The parts have been ordered to repair it so it will last a while. And we have stickers that have come in, a partial load. So hopefully we don't need to open them until January.
Good.
Yeah.
That's good, so at least we're up and running, no shortage on these.
No, I think we'll be fine. If you guys quit bisking, we're gonna be great. No. No, but we have, I think plenty to get us through December, so. I'm still waiting, apparently they didn't have enough paper, they've just had a heck of a time getting the paper, the right size, and I need to check and see if this is even.
Well, it's probably die cut paper is what it is, because they're stickers, as you well know, and they have to be on that, what they call crack and peel paper.
But I'm not sure how many were on the old ones.
Yeah.
So I've got an old sheet of blank, I'm gonna see, because we may not have the same number of stickers per sheet as the other one, I'm not sure. I don't remember, I never saw the full sheet printed, I just have it blank, so. I'll
Hey,
look at that.
you can go through Avery.com and print some if you need them for emergency. I mean, you can make your own little one and do it. It wouldn't, but
I think we're gonna be
that's kind of, you think it'd be, yeah.
Yeah, well, what's really nice is the system we have, and we're all accustomed to, I think, and I don't know what the Avery is, I've used round circles from Avery before, but they were always in little square sheets, and,
No, they're on a 8.5, 11, but it may not be the same quantity in it.
it definitely would be.
You want them to match, yeah. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay, it's a good idea if we get short. Either that or Barb, or, Debbie may have to color in some cut circles next year.
Coloring skills are good. Are we, Barb, are we good on the orange stickers then? So we have a lot of those for next year. Okay.
You ordered some of those with that order, didn't you?
I did. We have plenty of orange.
Okay.
The big part's the orange, folks, and there's the greens, I'm assuming the green or what, but I think we're short two going this way, they're gonna need to be cut this way.
Okay.
So, I don't know, but anyway, I'm not, we've
Well,
got
we ended
enough.
up using, did we end up using a different printer than we used before?
We had to because they're no longer in business.
That's what I thought.
So I went to the one that did our, accordion, to do
How
our
dare you
tickets
go
on
out of
it.
business. Okay, I will mention, there was, we purchased some, hardware for the monitor check-in program at the monitor's desk. And we're just now installing it. It's a very small screen. What will occur is when you're monitoring, you will come in and you will swipe your card once, and then you'll go into a new system that Linda Connell and the IT group has been working on, and has this very, very small keyboard. And eventually we'll get rid of the huge monitor out there. What is happening basically is we have an old system, we call it Swift Tech. It was developed back, I think, and purchased back in 2014, but it's outdated. So we've been trying to bring it all in-house so our IT group can do it. And Linda Connell has a lot of experience in her previous life with that, and she's been very generous with her time. But she asked us to buy the software, and the board voted via online to buy the $200 worth of software that we needed for that setup. So that occurred this month as well. And I have those votes for you, Star, that were returned to me on that. Did want you to know about that. That takes us to, we need new software we need to renew the software the club has for the treasurers. And I need somebody from the 2022 board to talk about that, please. Well, treasurer's not here right now. So, if it's something I can answer, I'm happy to do so. Do you have an approximate amount, or what it's gonna do or anything? No? Okay.
I think, Barb and Sandra have a meeting, are you in on that?
Yes.
Have a meeting scheduled to talk about this. Yeah, Barb's in California today.
Yeah, I knew she wasn't available, I didn't realize. Okay, well, when you get that set up, we'll have to, I'm presuming it's not over $1,000, I'm positive it's not, but I would like to make a online vote of the board to approve that purchase when you get that, when you get the information.
Our meeting is December 6th.
Okay, that's fine. Once they do that, I would ask that you give it to us so we can, because it's the response, if we have to renew it in December, now, if it doesn't renew until January, there's not a problem, then your board can take care of it. But if it needs to renew in December, we would have to vote on that, okay? No problem. Appreciate that. Janet, you're up, girl. I'm gonna move over and get my water.
Can I just sit here?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think we can see you.
I have not had the opportunity to go through the new November numbers to see about people qualifying or not yet. Had a little minor emergency this week, so, I was gonna get to that next week. So, I got the printout, but I haven't looked at it yet. We do have, I talked to Kathleen, we do have some lockers available, but we kinda decided to wait till January to fill those, to make sure people have done their requirements for this year.
And they don't change their minds.
And they don't change their minds, yeah. So, we do have some that people said they were gonna give up, but haven't done so yet. So, but they have till December 31st.
All right, well, thank you for all your efforts. I know that it's not been a fun task.
Janet's very sad about leaving her.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I always say when I have to talk to a member about an issue, this is the part of the job that's not the good part. The good part is all the other things I get to do, but today we have to talk about, and for Janet, it was everybody's locker qualifications and whether or not they wanted it for the year and all those other good things that go
Getting
along
the
with that job.
systems organized, it was,
Yes, but yeah, we've had issues, and part of the problem, and that's part of the reason the IT committee has stepped up so well this year, is because our systems are just broken.
yeah,
They're just not,
not
the
matching or
reports are very
matching.
difficult and they don't match, and it was a good time to do this with the launch of the rec center's, utilization system check-in. Okay, on unfinished business, the voting results, we need to, announce them and put them in the minutes that the following people for the 2022 Clay Club Board were voted in on November the 19th. Lynn Kellis, President, Gloria Berticelli.
Bertancini,
and it's Laura. I don't even know what I'm reading here.
Laura
I can't
It's
even-
spelled right.
Okay. Her brain.
My apologies.
That's
Laura.
okay.
First
I'm used
Vice
to it.
President
See if they do mine.
Debbie Wentz is second Vice President. Norma Lenz is Lindsay.
Secretary.
Let's go first,
Norma.
Liz.
I'll just go first.
That sounds good.
Secretary. The last one I really got is Barb Sloan, treasurer. So I'll make sure that these get filed into the minutes, because when you go, pass it down, please. When, you go to the bank, you'll need a copy of the minutes to go with you. So we have to make that official, that they were elected by the membership. And thanks everybody for your participation in the election. We had 177 members vote on that election. That's a good turnout, much greater than what we get across the USA when we elect a president. There is no new news on the tax status. There is one issue that I need to share with the group. We have no details yet. We're still working on it. We've been notified by the IRS. There's a couple questions on our past filings in 2019 and 2020. I see it as just a paperwork problem, and I believe that it will be rectified in the next week or so. So when I have more information, I'll share that with the entire club. At this time, but we're just in the preliminary, trying to get a hold of the IRS and prepare them some information to send to them based on what they've sent us. So it's just kind of standard procedure stuff. One of the things that's happened, I believe, I'm not sure whether it was 2018 or 2019, we started filing electronically, because that's what the IRS is asking people to do. When they did that, it began connecting the dots from previous forms filed and future and new ones. Just where before it was they were moving paperwork across and there was no cross-reference. And so the electronic filing has kind of put some flags on things, and that's what they're doing, just verifying some information. So, but I'll keep you informed as that goes on. Any questions on that? There's really nothing on the monitor station. I know that this is the month of the general, this is the month the general manager is actually presented with the budget for 2023, and 2024. We are actually, our project is in 2022 budget. It's every meeting I've sat through, it's been no problem, we're gonna do it. So here's hoping maybe by July at the latest, they will have started the project and finished it before you all come back next month if you leave in the summer. So it's an exciting time for the club. And I think it will open up a lot of, or satisfy and correct a lot of the issues we have around the monitor station, space-wise, certainly, and electronically wise, the plugins and those kind of things you deal with when you're a monitor that are very frustrating. So I'm glad that that project's on the board and we're gonna be moving ahead. Under new any questions on the unfinished business? Great. New business, the policies and procedures update. We've had a committee that for the last 2 months has been working on the kilns and the glazing. My intent initially was to go through all the policies and procedures, and they have been pulled together and put in a book, but they were never put in by subject. In other words, kilns, glazing, whatever, membership, any kind of policies that were written by different boards. It was just kind of a, well, we did it this year and it was kind of there. But it has been kind of organized, but we also took on the kilns and glazing because one of the things that COVID has brought to the attention of the organization is how our members are actually using our facilities. particularly during COVID, and even it continues today, we have a lot of members that, purchased equipment, stayed at home, brought it to the club to be fired and that kind of thing, to be glazed, and just, one of the places we make money as a club, honestly, is in the glaze and or not the glaze, but the kiln area, and the glaze stickers going with the kiln. And so these are some things that we've addressed with that, and trying to satisfy if we have incidents that have occurred or been brought to the attention of the board that maybe they don't think enough stickers were left behind, or whatever the case may be. Policies and procedures are written just to help as a guideline. They are not bylaws, and policies and procedures are made by boards, and they can be changed at any given time, unlike the bylaws that have to be presented to the membership and go through all that whole process that you're well aware of. So that's kind of what this committee was charged with. Let's go through the things that we've been doing, how we've always done it doesn't always work anymore because our life has changed. And so this policy has been written, it's been worked on for 2 months. We tabled it from the November meeting because we had a workshop that Monday prior to the meeting. We had a lot of input from different folks. We put that input into here, I believe. And so the policy and procedures as they here are on the table is what this board is going, hopefully going to vote on today and put into the procedures moving forward. Do I hear a motion regarding these policies and procedures?
I move to accept policies and procedures for the kiln I'm using it.
Okay, is there a second? Okay. Motion been made and seconded that we approve them the way they've been presented. Any discussion? Any discussion? That was easy. Okay, that's great. I really do, because we had Teresa Lee work on this, we had Linda Johnson work on this, and we had Diane City was a part of it. It was a committee that went, and then, of course, Barb and I both worked on it, and we had, did I forget anybody, Barb? There were some other people there too.
Linda Johnson.
Who's the backup to Linda?
Diane City.
No.
And Carrie
Taylor.
Carrie Taylor.
And some of these policies, as you see them, and particularly the opening paragraph, where we kind of talk in more general language, but I'm gonna read it because I think this is an important piece of it that leads into it. The Sun City West Clay Club is a social club for Sun City West residents to enjoy the art of pottery and the camaraderie with others in this interest. The intent of this organization is not to produce items for profit, and that has been really discussed a lot by the rec center also. Therefore, use of the facilities, equipment, and all materials available within the club may be limited by the board if it is deemed a member is not abiding by these stipulations and generating additional cost to the club. Notification of such offenses will be provided by the board following disciplinary steps as stipulated in the club's bylaws as described. And then I went to Article 2, membership, Section E, and the reason I've got H in there is because our bylaws right now are out of, we have 2 Section E's. That was my problem. So, member conduct important, and then rather than list all those disciplinary actions, you will see them in the bylaws because that's the way they are, and that we would follow that procedure as a club if these things become. In other words, it's not just, well, Margie decided that, Janet wasn't doing something right, so it's like, I get to tell her about it. No, it really needs to come before, I mean, it can be mentioned if you're totally outside the guidelines or the bylaws, but, and you can be reminded, but if there's any action to be taken, it has to become before a board. So that it's not just one person's opinion, I guess is the way that reads to me, but it also covers a lot of the things that are in here in a broad base. So, with that, I'll call for a vote. All in favor of approving the policies and procedures for the kilns and glazing as presented, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the same? Motion carried. Thank you. Let's see. We need to, this is one of the issues today that we have the 2022 board here to give us their consensus, and this is regarding lockers and dues to be established for 2022. It is not appropriate, in my opinion, for this board to set dues and the guidelines, when in fact, they're the ones that have to live with it. So, with that, I would ask you to give us your thoughts on that, Lynn.
Our thoughts on that are that we should go back up to the original prices that we were charging prior to COVID.
Which is
Continue with the $30 and the $10 locker fee.
Okay, and is there anything else that you wanna include in that?
We wanted to separate,
I'm sorry?
didn't we want to go back to, monitoring and locker punch-ins being separate?
That really doesn't have to be established here today,
Okay.
Nora.
It was just something that we were.
And it certainly, it is your, responsibility to do that next year as you do that, but it doesn't have to be a part of this motion. The reason we have to do this today is so that they're ready to start taking memberships in the new year right away. You don't have to wait for a board meeting and all that good stuff. And that was, so it's really just a monetary issue in my mind, but if you wanna put something else in it,
I think we'll look at that for the first of the year.
okay.
One thing I did want to clarify was what is the charge currently for someone who tests in?
It was $15 when I did education.
What do you mean, what's their charge for testing? What, I'm sorry, I
So
wasn't.
someone who
membership.
comes new to the club and wants to join, but they want to test in rather than signing up and paying for the handbelling class and the energy of it.
If I'm understanding your question correctly, Lynn, and I may not be, but if they're testing in, whatever the fee is for test in, then we also attach to that the membership, $30, and is what they pay.
Okay, so
Now-
the 30 plus 15. is-
That's what it was when I did it. So $15 for testing.
$45 basically, that's the same. And then if they want a locker, $10.
And they
Well, that comes later,
Yeah.
if they get a locker.
If they get a locker,
Yeah,
right.
yeah, by
If
that.
the locker's available, it would be $10. Now, there is one caveat that we'll also have to put in this motion, and that is, as of September 1st, if I remember correctly, it becomes $15 for that membership. Does that not?
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
As of September 1st, it becomes $15 for the balance of the year. Now, the reason we didn't do that this year, we were already at $15. So, is that understandable by everybody?
Yep.
Okay, do I hear a motion that the membership dues for 2022 are set at $30 for the year, and then beginning September 1st, it's $15 per member, and the locker fees will be $10 per year, when available.
I move.
Okay, do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, is there any other discussion? Okay, well then, we will vote, all in favor of setting the locker dues for 2022 at $30 a year with.
Remember,
Membership, I'm sorry.
You're fine.
Oh, no, oh, no. The membership fee for $30 for the year, and it reduces to $15 on September 1st, and the locker fees are $10, regardless of when they sign up for a locker.
that's right.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed the same, motion carried. Great. Good, we got that done. And we already have the other new business piece there. I do have one other thing that's come up, and I really don't know what we wanna do about this. And I don't think we talked a little bit about it, maybe not. As I sat through some of the, budget meetings at the rec center, there was a line item on there that they're going to approve, I believe, for $50,000. They're going to build security fence around the dumpsters and the equipment that is stored outside this building for the rec center. Does not affect us at this time. But I asked at the last meeting, probably should have asked at the prior meeting, but I asked at the last meeting, could part of that $50,000 be spent on a security fence to be attached to our wall? Now, if you've ever seen them, they're kind of like, I'll describe them as a iron fence with a bar on it that kind of curves
Yeah.
like this at the top
Right.
to resist people from climbing over, because we've had theft issues. And the answer I got from Carl Wilhelm at that time, it's not too late to ask for that. Now, what I need, and I submitted a CR 12 from Tim, because that's what Tim recommended I do. Well, it came back and said, no, you have to have a CR 13. But that requires a vote of the board. Now, my recommendation is that we submit it and not indicate that we're paying anything for it. Now, if that doesn't go through, then that's a whole nother deal for them, if the next board wants to say, okay, we wanna pay X amount of dollars. Nobody at this time has any idea how much we're talking about. And that's why I didn't even talk about a CR 13, because a CR 13 is usually $5,000 and up. I can't believe it's $5,000, but it might be. But I saw an opportunity with that $50,000 that said maybe there's gonna be some money there to do that, and as long as they're doing that, why wouldn't they do it for us? I think there's probably some interest in that, but I really don't know. But I need this board to decide if you want me to submit a CR 13 asking for the security fence with no commitment of funds from the club.
Make a motion.
Okay, motion been made and seconded that we ask them to install that security fence as part of that project for the, what is that, the east side of the building? Yeah, east side of the building here at Beardsley. I don't know whether we'll get anywhere or not, but it won't take too long to type the CR 13. So, any questions or any comments from
I think it's a great idea.
Jerry?
I have a question. Is this fence gonna be unlocked during the daytime period?
Well, this to me, Jerry, the way I presented to them, and I think I.
My only question is from being on the mud buckets, that's where they want us to dump the mud.
Well, you mean back there in their part? I don't know.
So, well, the Clay Club has to have access.
Okay. We'll have to ask them.
Oh,
I see what you, I thought you were asking about that fence over the wall. I was gonna say, no, the fence I envision will be on top of our current wall.
Because we have to access those dumpsters.
Well, we'll just have to work with them and find that out, but that's a good point. Was somebody else gonna make some comment? Oh, okay. That's the only thing I know, but it wouldn't be a lock of any sort from our standpoint, because I don't think they'll be able to extend our current gate. They'll just be extending the top of the wall with this
They just-
iron fence.
The mud bucket people have to have access to those dumpsters unless they want it on the ground out here.
No, I'm sure they don't.
Oh, no.
No, we'll just have to, make sure you contact, Lynn or somebody on the board that they can go and make sure that that's taken care of for you, is what I would recommend that you do. Okay, no further comment, all in favor that we ask the rec center to provide, to expand or protect our back patio with a security fence, without any funds from the club. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed the same. Thank you. And we need that in minutes, because I'll have to present the minutes with the CR 13. We need to get that done. I don't need it today, but.
Just by two.
You always get it done
You're getting
by
the
next
face.
week anyway.
My daughter's coming in.
No, I didn't mean it, I shouldn't even have said that, I'm sorry.
Okay, no,
My apologies. I just,
ASAP.
all I wanted to do
Does she
was,
type?
I have to put it. Next week is time.
Never been here.
No problem. All right, I will be passing out inventory sheets, we'll be passing out inventory sheets to the Kiln Committee, to the Blaze Committee, to the Procurement Committee, and, anybody wanna volunteer to help me do inventory? It's called counting the chairs, the tables, and anything fun like that.
Do we have anybody that needs hours?
Yeah,
Oh, that's a lot of good.
yeah.
Why don't you call and see if we can grab a crew?
We can put something. So we'll pick a date when I'm gonna count it all. It needs to be something. Anyway, those will be coming around, and I'll be asking for them back before the end of the month so we can turn it on a timely basis. And the last thing, the last thing here on the agenda, was there anything from you folks you wanna make mention of in your general comments? Okay, the last thing is we will be handing off the keys, and there's some other paperwork that goes to the new board on January 3rd. 2022 at 9 AM here in this room.
Is that a
9
board
a.m.?
meeting or just a
No.
handoff?
It's really just a handoff, in my opinion, unless somebody wants it some other way.
Just a meeting then?
9, not 10.
You bring us breakfast, champagne.
Norma
But you're
owes me a
leaving.
donut.
Oh,
Pardon
tell you
me?
what, I'll bring
Send
you
Bob
the
the
same
donut.
champagne
Send
you
Bob.
brought me.
You say
Fair
10
call.
or 9.
I do want to thank everybody in this room, and all the members of our club for the support and, the commitment they've made to the club throughout this past year. It certainly has been a whole lot easier. We've had a wonderful volunteer base, and I think we've had a good year. And I appreciate all my board especially for putting up with me and all my notes and all the everything I do. But anyway, I want to tell everybody thank you. And I do want to congratulate the new board that you're coming in on January 1st, ready to go, and wish you the best. And if there's anything we can do for you, that's what we're here for.
We appreciate that. If I may just say, I'd like to thank the board and Margie, all of you very much for all you've done this past year, and hopefully we'll have the time to do a good handoff to each other as you close out the year and you start the new year. Thank you. Appreciate working with you.
Anybody else want anything? If not, I'll call for adjournment. Move to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
Made and seconded.